All right, what's up, family? Y'all got an interesting one for you today. This one here, me of all people, kind of shocked to say this, but I'm going to say it. So I'm going to title this video here, All Cops Are Not Bad. Now, the reason I said that first statement, because me of all people, looking at history, reading history, and seeing all the unpleasant things that you see with so many bad cops, it's a shame when you say all cops not bad. It's almost like the terminology where they should be saying all black people not bad, all Spanish people not bad, all white people not bad, you know? So it goes both ways. You can't just say one without the other. But let's get to the point here. I'm gonna give you my story of why I decided to do this video and say all cops are not bad. Now there's a reason I got these cars displayed right here as you're looking at. So I want you to follow me with this here. See the blue car? That's going to be the representation of a cop car at a red light. So just imagine there's a red light. And see the yellow car? That's going to be the representation of me. We're both at a red light. Now, I want to make a left. So as you know, if I want to make a left onto that street, but the cop car is here going straight. This is a real simple answer. As the light is red, once the light turns green, who has the right of way? If I want to make a left. If I want to make a left, obviously the cop car got the right of way, right? Then I got to wait for the car to go first. Then I make my left, right? Isn't that the way it's supposed to be? We all know that's correct, right? Well, let me tell you my story. This happened when I was about 19 years old. So obviously I'm going way back in time, right? And this is why I say all cops are not bad, because the incident that happened to me this day could have went really wrong if it was a bad cop. But I wound up being engaged with let me just tell you the story. So anyway, this is me. This is a cop. There's two cops in this car. They're the light. The light had just turned, as I was approaching the light, came off this other street, and I'm approaching, actually it's turned yellow, and by the time I got here, it turned red. So now I'm stopped at a red light. And the cop was coming up yellow, then it turned red, and they stopped. So now as it's red, next thing I know, the light turned green. And now mind you, it's very important when I say this, I was 19 at the time. Basically a young adolescent, naive kid, basically still. So the light turned green. As soon as the light turned green, now like I said, we know who has the right of way. He's going straight, unless he's making a left, but he's not. The cop car was going straight. They have the right of way. I gotta wait for this cop car to go before I make my left. But what did I do? Remember, like I said, I was young and dumb, 19. As soon as the light turned green, this is what I did. It said green, I went like this. And I just cut the cop off. I cut the cop off. And when I cut him, I was speeding. No lie, I'm not exaggerating. I literally went, yo, I didn't even get one block before the cop put on the light. And then, he pulled me over. And when the cop pulled me over, this is what touches on the title of this one here called All Cops Not Bad. Now, as y'all all can see, what I did, I was dead wrong. But one thing for sure, I was lucky. I actually had good cops that day. Let me tell you what happened. So now when the cop gets out of his car and he comes over, right? When he walks over, right away he says, he didn't come over aggressively. He didn't bang on my window. He never grabbed his gun. He came over, and I was this other chick at the time, back in the days. But anyway, he came over, and when he came to my door, he didn't tap on the nothing. He just stood back so I could clearly see him. And he put up both his hands. He's like, hey, what's going on? So I was being young, dumb, and ignorant because I just seen a bunch of news reports of some bad cops. I seen a bunch of movies with some bad cops. I read articles on some bad cops. I had a bunch of nonsense going on in my head, being easily influenced by all the nonsense that we see in the world, right? So the cop, he just put his hands up. Like I said, he didn't even tap on my door. He stood from a distance, but where I could clearly see him. And he said, hey, what's going on? What was that, man? He said, yeah, you cut me totally off. So, you know what I said? I said, yeah, man, I did that because I'm sick and tired of all you crooked cops and all you bad cops. Man, I'm sick of you jokers. You jokers always doing reckless stuff. And once again, the cop said, what? He said, hey, listen, I don't know what's going on with you. He said, but that's not me. I don't know what you've seen or heard, but that's not me. He said, hey, listen. And then, I had my window down at the time. He said, hey, listen, I'm going to assume you're not on drugs or alcohol or anything. I said, nah, man. I said, you see what I'm saying, man? Right away, you going to say something so silly like, he said, whoa. He said, hey, listen, guy, I don't know what's going on in your world, but one thing I'm just going to ask you is please tone it down because this could easily go real bad right quick. He said, I don't know what's going on right now. He said, I'm just going to ask you, you haven't been drinking or anything. Are you under the influence or anything? I said, no. I said, why do you keep with that nonsense, man? He said, hey, listen, I'm trying to understand what's going on with you right now. He said, you do know I have the right of way at that light. He said, not only you cut me off, it was like you were speeding. He said, hey, listen, I don't smell anything in your car. I don't know what's going on with you right now. And then his partner stood right here. Now his partner knocked on the window. And I said, yo, man, so what, both of y'all? I said, I can't answer both of y'all questions at the same time, man. See, this is what I'm talking about. You jokers be on some nonsense. Once again, the cop was real calm and very professional. And he said, listen, I don't know what you are assuming. And as always, I love to give you a word of the day. So that's going to be the word of the day, assume. Now, what does the word assume mean? It means something that's supposed to be without actual facts. So the cop said to me, he said, hey, listen, I don't know what you seen, what you read, whatever movies you see. He said, but dude, we're not one of those cops like that. He said, but one thing's for certain, you cut me off, and that's called reckless driving. I can easily give you a number of tickets, possibly even lock you up or tow your car. What is wrong with you? He said, listen, whatever's going on with you, you need to reevaluate yourself. And don't make assumptions about people or anyone before you get your facts. Hence the word assume. Remember, what did we say the word assume mean? It means something that's supposed to be without getting your facts. Now remember, speaking of the word assume, I remember back when I first brought that word that word was first brought to my attention. I was about in the 6th grade. I remember my teacher said that. He said, do y'all know what the word assume mean? And it was like, 6th grade. It was like, when you don't have the facts. He said, yeah. You know what assume? He said, don't ever assume something about somebody without getting your facts right. Because you know why? When you assume, you're doing what the definition means. Something that's supposed to be because you feel like it, but you don't got your facts. You know how somebody say, man, just because you say so, that ain't proof. So I love the way my teacher explained it to us back in the 6th grade. He said, when you assume something, you know what you're doing? You know what you're really doing? You're making an ass out of you and me. So don't assume, because that's what you're doing when you assume something. You don't have your proof. You're making an ass out of you and me. And I swear, I never forgot that. I was in the 6th grade. And so now, when I bring it back to that event with that officer, man, I gotta tell you, man, that officer was very professional, very understanding. If I had to put words to wisdom to it, I would have to say that was an officer that was actually from the neighborhood, an officer that was understanding, an officer that was really professional at his job, an officer that cared about the community, an officer that cared about the civilians of the community, an officer that was trying to make me understand, don't assume things. Because when you assume things, what did my 6th grade teacher say? When you assume things, you make an ass out of you and me. I never forgot that, man. But like I said, that officer, he didn't even give me a ticket or nothing, but he did have a nice talk with me. And he just told me, he said, hey, listen, I could easily write you a bunch of tickets, possibly you get your car towed. He said, but I don't know what's going on with you, but please, do yourself a favor, do me a favor, do everybody a favor. Don't assume. He said, so like I said, man, I know I said it already. I don't know what movie you watch, what you read in an article. He said, yes, I do get you. You're right. There are some bad cops, unfortunately. He said, but I'm not one of them. Don't make that assumption. He said, but what you did when you cut me off, he said, man, that was way out of line. Man, I'm supposed to write you up. And you know, we exchanged names that day. And man, it made me have a different outlook for cops. I said, man, that was actually, because I knew myself. Things could have went real bad for me that day. So I said, damn, that was actually one of the good ones. See, you learned something that day. You learned something from this video. I've had many encounters with other cops. I've even coached a softball team with 2 different state troopers. Excellent cops. Excellent cops. Now, of course, we've seen bad reports on the news, on the internet, on TV, in the movies, portraying cops and some of them in their worst state. But we're not here to talk about that. Although those things happen, we're talking about how there are some good cops out there. You don't hear enough about them. And the ones that are good, we need to hear more about those, because that cop that day, he did me a great deal of justice by not only giving me no tickets or citations or get my car towed, but he took time to talk to me as an actual person and trying to make me understand what I did wrong, how things could have went wrong, but he's not going to do that. But please, my man, don't make assumptions. Remember, assume means something that's supposed to be without actually getting your facts. And like he said, don't assume all cops are bad, because we're not. I'm not one of the bad ones. And his actions spoke louder than his words. It proved that he wasn't. Because he could have clearly screwed me up, right? Wouldn't you say? So, like I said, title of the video, all cops are not bad. Peace.